shaking, everybody. Welcome back to another chapter of the Orangebloods Texas Football Channel Texas OU series. It feels like all week long, video after video after video. It's our prediction video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so that you can get the notifications for when these videos come out, and leave your predictions in the comments section. Anwar, I want to lead off with you because a couple of weeks ago, you looked at, I guess, the first game. Was it TCU was the game that you were going to give Texas, and it sounded like you weren't confident about Oklahoma, but now it feels like 2 weeks later, I feel like you might go in a different direction.
Yeah, I'm going in a different direction. I've changed my mind.
Wow.
There's a couple of things as related to this game. One is that I feel, I can't ignore that, the Arkansas game happened, but I can't ignore the wins that Texas has had, in addition to that. They beat a Texas Tech team that, no matter what, they're actually a 4-1 team at this moment. They did beat TCU, which was a tough road game. They did have, the Rice win's the Rice win. They beat Louisiana, which was ranked to start off the season. So I can't ignore that. And also can't ignore that Oklahoma has struggled throughout the season. I mean, they seem like a team who is about to run out of luck. They haven't faced, I don't think, the quality of competition that Texas has faced. I don't feel like they're on any kind of upswing. I feel like they've been escaping. And even if the K-State game you want to talk about last week, maybe the score was a little bit closer than the game may have indicated, K-State still gave them a run for their money. So I'm just not sold on this Oklahoma team at this point. I'm more sold on this Texas team. And this is as a person who said Texas is probably an 8-win team and expected OU to be a loss going into the season. I no longer expect that. I don't know if you want to win a number at this point. But, if you're putting me down to something right now, I'm probably going to say like 42-35 Texas is going to be my prediction.
Okay, Mr. Dunlap, batter up.
Well, I mean, for me, it feels about as even as it can, because I feel like there's things you could point to on the Oklahoma side that are due for regression. I've kept on talking about the fact that I feel like Spencer Rattler is probably a better quarterback than we've seen so far this year. We started to see a little bit of an uptick with what the offense is trying to do last week. With that being said, I think that there are things on the Texas side that can, go really one way or the other. With the passing game, how the Oklahoma defense, that's the really good portion of their defense is their run defense. How does it match up versus Bijan Robinson? How can Casey Thompson adapt to that? How can there be other X factors who emerge if Bijan can't completely take over the game? So when I look at the spread here, it's Texas minus 3.5 points. Right now, 66% of the tickets and 75% of the money are on the Longhorns, plus 3.5 points via Sports Insights. So the public's on Texas, and there's also some sharp support there. As far as the total sitting right now, it's 63.5. 38% of the tickets are on the under, but 71% of the money is on the under right now. So we have a lot of big bets coming in on the under in this game. I think one of the reasons why is because when you look at Oklahoma's third down efficiency, their third down percentage, they're number 114 in the nation. I think it's going to have a lot to do with whether Texas, who, like I talked about in the podcast, has had a kind of bad defense, but the one feather in their cap has been they've gotten teams off the football field on third down at a pretty good rate. They're ranked top 40 or so in that particular category. And as far as third down rate for Texas, Texas is 7th in the nation as far as their third down conversion percentage. The other things that I look at in a big game like this, and a big game like the Red River Rivalry, turnovers. Oklahoma so far this year, 83rd in the nation as far as giving up turnovers offensively. Texas, believe it or not, only 14th. So turnovers, third downs, the fact that I keep on thinking about the edge rush, the speed of the OU defense. I keep thinking of number 11, Nick Benito, how bad Christian Jones looked versus TCU on the left side, how young Andre Carrick is over on the right side. I just feel like there's these conflating, these juxtapositions that keep on saying like they're tugging me one way or the other. So I think that they tie in regulation, 27-27. And then from there we go to overtime. I think Texas will Texas, I think OU will score one field goal in overtime. Texas will come and score a touchdown. So I'm guessing Texas wins 34-30 in overtime.
Jason.
I think that's our first ever call for overtime. Good for you, Alex, for being so specific, man. I've thought all week that this game was going to be a lower scoring game. And I was picking Oklahoma in my head before I broke it down to win the game just because they're Oklahoma. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt until someone knocks them off, and same with Lincoln Riley. But in breaking this game down on paper, I think Texas is every bit as good, maybe even slightly better in some areas. I have faith in Sarkisian the same way I do the same faith I've given that I find in Lincoln Riley. I think they're both offensive minds, brilliant offensive minds who can scheme well. I think Casey Thompson's going to bounce back and play well. I think Texas is going to run the ball just well enough. I said in our modcast that 30 points was kind of my level that I think the winning team's going to have to get to. I'm going Texas 31, Oklahoma 30. Texas wins it on a last-second field goal by Cameron Dicker.
It's funny that Alex said he's picking an overtime game because so am I. So I'm a little pissed that he stole my thunder as the first person to ever pick an overtime game. I think this game's really close. I worry for Texas that Nick Bonito against Christian Jones is a difference-making matchup that can get Texas beat. I worry about the Texas defense. And even though I slightly disagree with Anwar in that I think if you took Oklahoma's performance against Kansas State and played that against Texas's performance against TCU, Texas would have lost last week. I thought Oklahoma in the second half was really impressive to my naked eye. They were still a little sloppy. Texas and Oklahoma should get together at midfield at the beginning of the game and have a sloppy handshake because they both at times keep the other teams that they've played in games. I'm a little worried that Texas, their two worst performances are the two games they've played away from DKR this season. Obviously the abomination against Arkansas. That TCU win for me is less impressive when you go back and you look at it after the first time. I still don't trust Texas. And when the Oklahoma game ended last week, I was like, I'm picking Oklahoma to win the game. I think they'll beat Texas. I think it's going to be an overtime. I'm thinking 34-34. Texas kicks a field goal in overtime. OU scores a touchdown in overtime. 40-37 is my final pick in overtime. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's weird because I think I've got this game in overtime, but I trust the Oklahoma defense to make a play when the game's on the line a little bit more than I trust the Texas defense. And I think we get late fourth quarter and into overtime. One of those defenses is going to have to make a play. And I trust Oklahoma's defense to make a play a little bit more than I do against Texas. Hey, if I'm an idiot, if I'm crazy, I mean, look, I confused Johnny Lamb Jones with Johnny Ham Jones in a video that Jason and I did. And one of them was my driver's ed teacher, and I somehow mixed them up. So I can be wrong. If I'm wrong, leave the comment in the comments section. If you found this video interesting at all, give us a like. We appreciate the likes. It helps us out. We would really love the subscriber follows as well. For myself, Jason, Alex, Anwar, thanks for watching. We'll see you on Saturday. Full coverage, 3-hour pregame show on the Orangebloods Texas football channel. And then obviously Anwar and I will do the postgame show. As long as like the Cotton Bowl will probably allow him to hang out in the press box. So stay tuned. More great content coming on the channel. Thanks for watching. You guys be good to each other. Y'all take care. Later.